back after a week break. I'll quickly talk about that. We're going to have obviously updates on what's going on with Mount Gox, the German government selling potential Ethereum ETF next week. We have a few exciting things on the big side, and we're going to be picking a random, actually, anyone who participated in our new 90-day game plan challenge is a new draw. So we have quite some exciting things. I'm looking forward. If you're on YouTube, maybe drop into the chat where you're coming in from. Always interesting to see in the chat. I don't know if you can do this on the Twitter space. If you can, maybe drop it in the Twitter space as well. Also nice to see. Great. With that, Fabio, give us a bit of an overview on what's happening in general in the world, in the community. Assange is free. He just landed in Australia. That's also something. He had to give up. Did you see this? They had to delete on. I think that was the counter deal on I think where was it? Wiki. What is it? WikiLeaks. They had to delete all these files that they leaked. I think the DOJ asked that from them. That was quite interesting. Fabio can't hear me. Oh, now you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Jim, I think now everything should be working. I had some struggle with my audio. Can you confirm?
I can. Yeah. Okay. Loud and clear.
Cool. So, if it's up to me, and the most exciting thing right now is a hamster game on Telegram.
Oh, man.
We haven't talked about this yet, but it's funny because it's something that is really exciting. I can go into the details on why, and then of course.
No, okay. Can I share my experience, and then you kind of share your story? So it's a Monday. I'm sitting at dinner, right? So we have this meeting in Europe where I'm with this entire group. So we have this crypto event Saturday, Sunday. Then on Monday we do this trip to South Tyrol, which is in Italy. And I'm sitting, and I'm at dinner, right? And there's this girl in front of me on the other side, and she's sitting there, right? And just and I'm like, what the heck is she doing, right? And I thought, okay, what the hell, whatever, right? So she just sits there and is like this, and I'm a bit weirded out. And then I say, hey, what's going on? And she says, oh yeah, Fabio signed me up to this thing, and now I need to pet my hamster. And I'm like, what do you mean you need to pet your hamster? Yeah, if I pet my hamster, I'm gonna collect those coins. So I'm like, and what do you get with these coins? Yeah, I don't know, but Fabio told me I need to pet my hamster, right? So I'm like, oh, come on. So tell me your side of the story.
Yeah, so I actually, Firat, one of our is a community member. He's part of my team. I saw him playing the game, and he got signed up through another employee, Yanni. She's working on our product team. And I instantly, when I saw this on his screen, I was like, hey, what's that? Because it kind of looked familiar to me. It's an idle game, and I'm very familiar with idle games because it's like the last the last thing that is part of my gamer life. Like I used to play a lot of games, but now I work a lot, so I don't have time to game. So idle games is the obvious choice. And so I saw this and I said, hey, please send me the link to this. Then he sent me over the link, and I was blown away instantly because I checked their socials. So I started with checking their socials. I went on Twitter and I saw, hey, they have almost 10 million followers.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
Then I looked on YouTube and I went into YouTube analytics. They were the fastest growing YouTube channel, I think, in history. They surpassed Mr. Beast because they signed up, I think, 30 million people on their YouTube in 3 months or 2 months. So they went from 0 to 30 million in 3 months. So I started playing the game, looking into it. They have 200 million active players. And it's basically a super simple game. It's an in-app Telegram game. So Telegram has this feature that you can play inside of Telegram just with a link. It's basically a bot that gives you a graphical interface and you can play the game. And what's blowing me away is if you look at some numbers, there is different numbers out there, but there aren't 200 million Bitcoin holders. There are not 200 million Ethereum holders. Like the crypto communities, you can throw some numbers out there. Some people say it's 40 million, some say it's 90
Yeah, but
million.
how many bots do you think are there? I mean, to me, it's just like that. Aren't these like total like aren't they farming this in Indonesia or in India, Pakistan or something? You're just farming
Of,
this.
of course. I'm 100% certain that they are. But the thing that is kind of mind blowing to me, and I think when it comes to crypto adoption, so Telegram itself has 900 million users, active users. They recently launched their own coin, which broke into the top 10. It's called Coin. And they have a very different, so it's like the Telegram is super underrated because, like, if you look at Facebook with WhatsApp and Instagram, they're a bit north of a billion in users. And everybody, if Facebook would venture into the crypto game, people would lose their mind. And the same for, let's say, other big social or big tech companies. And Telegram kind of did this quietly. And with these games like Hamster Kombat is the name of the game, they have the opportunity to kind of be the touch point for millions, hundreds of millions of people to kind of have their first interaction with crypto. And it's super interesting to follow. The game is kind of addictive. So and you might not or might well get an airdrop afterwards. You need to connect your Telegram wallet to it. So it's super interesting from an adoption perspective, and just it's probably, I would say, the hottest thing in crypto right now, besides Solana mint coins. So yeah, that would be the too long didn't read on Hamster Kombat. I'm already master, soon to be grandmaster, just for the people that are playing it.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, what's happening in the markets? Why is everything going down? Why did I think, Fabio, I'm blaming you. You're the one who says it went up. In the last town hall, he said up only. Now my portfolio is down. Why portfolio down? You promised that.
Yeah. So okay, but one thing I want to add there. I think since April or so, I said enjoy the summer and come back in Q3, Q4 for the gains. And
No. I remember the last town hall. You said this is not financial advice. We're bullish always.
Of course, I'm bullish. It's just, I don't know.
I'm just teasing Fabio for everyone who doesn't see this. I'm just teasing him.
I don't know what's happening during the summer, and here in Europe at least, there's nothing like European summer because we have devastating weather for most of the year, and when it's finally summer, we kind of enjoy the shit out of it. So I and the advice I give to friends and family, I was enjoy the summer and come back for the gains. Wake me up when September ends. It's probably going to be September, October, November that we really pick off, and that something magical is going to happen. Hopefully, fingers crossed, not financial advice, but. Right now, I would say people are just scared of Mount Gox. That would be my interpretation of things. Of course, we had the German government that wants to sell some Bitcoin, and we have Mount Gox. Those are probably the two bigger news that are currently out there. I'm not sure. I would love to hear your take on the whole Mount Gox thing because I have some thoughts of my own. But before I spill them, I would love to hear what you think.
I mean, look, I spoke to two friends who actually are awaiting claims from Mount Gox. Their claims are not so sizable. They don't think that they're gonna get it right away. So I think Mount Gox says beginning of July. So they are waiting, and I think they are expecting it to get kind of stretched out. So my thoughts on this is a bit that, and I asked them if they're gonna sell. They're gonna sell, but not everything. But they're just gonna sell because it's actually quite it became quite a significant amount. Because I mean, if you had 100 bitcoins back then, this was not much, but 100 bitcoins right now is a lot. So yeah, they're definitely going to sell some. But obviously, the question is how fast you get it, and yeah, so that's a bit of my thoughts. I believe Mount Gox is a bit overblown. It's probably a bit more fear than actually anything else. But this is very anecdotal. I want to be very clear. I didn't do any kind of analysis. I don't know if people were able to do some analysis. I don't know. Do you have any data or anything on the insights there?
So the first thing is I'm probably a bit numb when it comes to Mount Gox, just because we saw news in 2017. So every year they come and they say Mount Gox is going to sell. We are going to liquidate. People are going to be made whole every year. Like I have a screenshot up from November of 2017, November of 2021, last year in December 2023, every year there is news that Mount Gox liquidations and Mount Gox creditors are going to be made whole or not going to be made whole. I think they got 15 cents or 20 cents on the dollar. Nobody really knows. Like, there's not a real insight how much they get, but the estimates are like that they get, I don't know, 15 to 20 cents on the dollar. But it's sizable. It's 9 billion, I think, in total, the total amount that is going to be distributed. Some of the people, they get it in fiat, I think. They get it in US dollars, and others, they get it in Bitcoin. I think you had to choose at one point. And the only things that I know is that the whole process, even if you, let's say you were a European customer or an American customer, the forms that you had to fill in were all in Japanese. And there's like help centers online that taught you how to fill in these forms. And it's super messy. I think we are 11 years into the process. And I don't know if it's going to happen right now. And if it's going to happen, I don't know, it's probably going to be priced in at this point. I'm not sure if it's... some people made the comparison of like Eric Baltunas came out and he said this would negate 50% of the ETF inflows. Other people are comparing it to Michael Saylor buying, but I think it's not going to be that big of a thing. And they are also they are planning to schedule this out, so it's not everything is going to be paid out in July. And I think also not everybody's going to dump. Some people might be interested in actually holding on. I mean, if you follow Bitcoin since 11 years, you kind of hopefully have an idea of where we are in the current cycle, and you might want to wait maybe towards the end of the year until you sell your bags. But these are just my thoughts.
100%. I mean, I'm really aligned there. Yeah. On the Ethereum inflows, what do you think there on the ETF inflows?
So
Eric Balchunas said that inflows could happen. Actually, the ETF could get approved next week.
Okay. So Gary Gensler also came out and he said it's going along nicely. So definitely, I'm 100% expecting now. So I was completely wrong on that because I expected it to be at the end of the year. You were right with your May prediction.
No. I was also wrong. I want to be very clear. I was wrong. I thought I was hopeful for May, I think all the way until January, February. Then I was super pessimistic, but I left my bets on. So I want to be very clear. I actually benefited financially nicely from this because I had my options on, sold those, and that was a good timing. And then, I thought we're going to see the ETF end of the summer.
So two thoughts on Ethereum ETF. So three thoughts. So the first thing is, I think we're going to see exactly the same what we see with Bitcoin regarding grayscale. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum had a grayscale product. And just to put this in perspective, I'm not going to say it's going to be exactly the same, but it's sort of rhymes. On Ethereum, on Bitcoin, we saw 60% of all the Bitcoin that Grayscale held in outflows. 60%. And I think something similar is going to happen to Ethereum as well. So probably half of what is...
Sorry, I have a call. I need to pick up this call. Give me a second.
Don't worry. I'm just going to continue. So probably half of what came in through Grayscale over the years is going to flow out, probably over the course of, let's say, 4 or 5 months, similar to what Bitcoin experienced as well. Then the second thing is the inflows that we are actually going to see. And here I'm just going to quote or look into people that actually know what they're talking about, but they're probably between 10 and 20% of what we see in Bitcoin. So if we saw, I don't know, 10 billion of inflows in Bitcoin, it's probably going to be 2 billion of inflows in Ethereum. So it's also a bit weighted for market cap, but the institutional interest is probably going to be a lot lower than what we saw happening with Bitcoin. And then the third thing is, on the day the ETF went live, the Bitcoin ETF went live, I think on was Wednesday or so, in January 11. On the day it went live, Ethereum pumped 10%, just because crypto people are like goldfishes. So the moment the Bitcoin ETF went live, the next narrative is ETH ETF is coming. And I think something similar is going to happen here. So the moment the Ethereum ETF is going to go live, probably Solana is going to pump 10% because people are going to expect that Solana's ETF is going to come up next. These are my three thoughts. I'm not sure if you heard what I shared, Julian, and if you're fully back or not. So Julian is back at his computer. I'm seeing him on the screen, but he's typing. So I guess he is finishing up something that came out of the phone call.
Can you tell Fabio? How do I say this to Fabio?
I
Fabio? Can you ask the Cake team to
I cannot
unmute
hear
me?
you on Twitter.
I need to be unmuted. Yeah, I need to be unmuted.
Wait.
Yeah, because I'm now.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
you might.
Yep. Okay, working
Okay.
now.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm back. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the team didn't see that I was just came back. So no, Max, thanks. I know you can hear me on YouTube, but I had to communicate with Fabio on any channel that he knows that I'm still muted, and I at the same time I had to communicate with the Cake team because they are running the channel. So yeah. Cool. Okay, brief rundown. What did you explain in those 2-3 minutes? I had to pick up that call. Sorry.
So 3 points. I think that the ETH will experience GBTC outflows, similar to what Bitcoin did, because they also had a GBTC product, and probably they're going to have high fees. So we were going to see outflows there. Then the second is it's probably not going to have the same amount of inflows as Bitcoin did. I would estimate between 10 and 20% of what Bitcoin had. So if Bitcoin had 10 billion, ETH is probably going to have 2 billion or so. And then the third thing is probably on the day the ETF goes live, Solana or another altcoin is going to pump because the narrative shifts to what's the next ETF. These were my thoughts.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, very much aligned there. Did you talk about Solana as well?
Not yet.
Something we discussed prior. Okay.
Not yet.
How do you think ETF is going to impact Solana? And I mean, what's happening on Solana right now? Because I mean, we had this in the prep prior that we discussed this.
Yeah. So a lot of people might know, but I'm very much not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I would call myself a Bitcoin centrist, maybe. So the largest share of my allocation is in Bitcoin. I'm a true believer in everything, but I'm open to other things as well. So I'm following very closely what is happening in other ecosystems. And Solana right now is blowing everything out of the park. Like, it's crazy. So for example, you have a DEX called Jupiter on Solana. And this thing alone has more transaction volumes and more transactions than Ethereum and all Ethereum layer 2 combined. We saw, I think 99% of all coins that are created in the Solana ecosystem. And the retail adoption, like they have a new thing called Firestarter, which enables 1 million transactions a second. They have exciting dApps that are currently being built, and the retail adoption and the narrative and the tech and the things that Solana has going for them are actually super exciting. I know about the issues, that they have a lot of downtime and the chain is down and not working and this and that, and about the centralization. I know all of that, but they seem to do a lot of things right when it comes to the technicals, and they have a lot of transaction volume and they have a lot of users, which has value. So I'm right now I'm pretty excited about what is happening in and around Solana. This is not financial advice. It's I follow. And also, I don't want to shill another YouTube channel or so, but I follow a guy called Invest Answers, and he's pretty bullish about Solana and shares a lot of data that is currently what's happening, how many transactions, how it's compared to other chains, and so on. And here, I don't want to speak badly about other chains, but if you just look about in the other top 15 chains, like for example Cardano or Avalanche or Polkadot, they're basically dead in comparison. Like, I don't know, Cardano, for example, has like not even 30,000 daily active users right now. And if you compare that to Solana, which has 1 million a day, it dwarfs everything in comparison. And not saying anything if they're underpriced or overpriced or anything, but you might want to look into some data. DeFi Llama is a good platform if you want to compare one or two blockchains to. I don't know, what's your take on, let's say, things that are outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean, I think Solana is right up there. I mean, that's also a reason why it's basically number 3. I mean, the amount of meme coins and things that get launched in there is just incredible. And so with that, you see a lot of the action and activity. Yeah, so quite reasonable. Yeah. What else do we have? I still have a giveaway, but what other things do we have?
Maybe we can touch on Trump, that is suddenly being extremely pro crypto, or the German government. Yeah.
German government is selling. Anything else that we need to say there? And they are run of
Maybe
a bunch of whatever. Fill in
so.
your
Just
derogatory term here.
to give some insights to anybody that hasn't seen what's going on there, is I think there was a so in the history of file sharing and piracy, online piracy, you had this uTorrent Pirate Bay era, and right afterwards came the streaming era. And one of the biggest streaming websites back in the day was, I think, movie4k.to. Just telling everybody this is illegal, just to educating a bit about the history. And the German government, they seized all the Bitcoin of movie 4K or movie 2K.to, so like server hosted in Tongo. And these Bitcoins, I think they held on to them for, I don't know how many years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And now they sold, I think, 3 billion out of, and they still hold some there. So they didn't sell all of it. They just sold part of it, or are about to sell. So that's the only thing that I know. And yeah.
Trump, did you hear did you listen to or watch the interview on the All In podcast?
I
mean,
did.
Okay, let me share first, then I'll let you share. I give you my thoughts first. So I've listened to a few Trump interviews. I want to be very clear so far. It was very exhausting listening to the guy. And I always felt he was the less bad, or the less worse candidate between him and Biden. I thought, okay, there's not going to be a good candidate here. He was very attacky. He always went ad hominem. He was always, if an interviewer asked any question, the first 30 seconds Trump spent on attacking the interview, telling how stupid the interviewer is and how stupid the person is about asking this question. Afterwards, he spent 30 seconds like defaming, but like talking bad about the other candidate, right? And then 10 seconds, he was like, yeah, that's everything there is to say there. Next question, right? So that's how most of his interviews felt. I listened to the interview on the podcast, and I was really impressed how he answered the questions. What answers he gave, the opportunities he would have had to really talk bad about Fauci, the CIA. He didn't do that. I don't know. I don't know if it's a different Trump. I don't know if I simply got lied to by the media with the interviews that I watched, or it's a mix of both. I was quite impressed. I told my wife afterwards. I said, hey, and she absolutely hates Trump, right? And I told her, I said, listen to the interview. I thought it was quite presidentially in a sense, and yeah, she did listen to it, and she was like, yeah, quite interesting. So that was a bit of my thoughts without going into the various debate points. I don't know if you want to do this, but I just want to hear your general feedback first.
So maybe first of all, All In podcast is slowly turning into one of my favorite shows all over the internet. Like, these guys are insanely good. They are super funny to listen to. They're spot on with their takes, and it's like a bit all over the place. It lately was a lot of politics because of the elections, but normally it's tech, it's AI, it's a bit of crypto, it's entrepreneurship. And it's funny, and all of these guys, they have had massive success in their private lives, and it's really like, it's one of the few podcasts that I turned on notifications, and every time they release a new episode, I'm instantly gonna watch it or listen to it. So that's maybe, first of all, I have a bit of a bias. Then the second thing is, what surprised me the most when Trump came on is how easy to talk to he was, how like he was very smart, very charismatic, and like sharp. He was really sharp. He had good answers, and it was like a, I don't know, 80-minute, 90-minute session without any cuts, without any edits. And if I don't think Biden could do that. I don't think he could. Like, he would stumble and he would forget the question, or he wouldn't have cohesive answers, or he wouldn't be as charming. Like, he was very presidential, Donald Trump. And I was blown away by how good he answered these questions and how sharp he looked in that interview. So yeah, I think it's super exciting. I wish that more platforms, more podcasts like the All In podcast would just give long format, and they never ever interrupted him once. That I was really, I'm admiring them for doing this. Like, they just let him talk. They threw hard questions, really hard questions, very direct questions, and then they just let him talk, let him finish, and then next question, or maybe a follow-up. So I really enjoy the format. Yeah.
Agree. I mean, sure, you could always ask a few other questions, but I agree. I thought the questions weren't easy. I mean, and they kind of really discussed crucial topics, right? They discussed topics like the entire thing around abortion, which is obviously very divisive in the US. I mean, all over the world, but in the US, it's a very left-right topic. Then, yeah, COVID. No, it was, I agree. Very, no, I was really, really impressed. Yeah.
Maybe before we go into the big stuff, there is this one thing, a reoccurring theme that we always kind of touch on, which is maybe more a bit of the macro side. I know there has not been a lot of news. The last time we talked, I think, was 14 days ago. So we skipped last week. And I just want to maybe revisit, maybe, did your opinion change on, let's say, money supply, money printing, the Fed? Are you still expecting a rate cut in September? Or
September.
Yeah.
I stick to my September.
And how would you see the impact of that rate cut? So would that mean we see risk on assets performing quite well towards the end of the year, or maybe?
I'll stick to my plan, where I just really believe that rate cut in September, not as much kind of an impact. I think it's going to be more of a signaling kind of rate cut, just more like, yeah, like, it's okay. And I just think it's going to really, I think, again, I am of the opinion that Trump's going to win, and he's just going to, like, really blow the trumpet on what he's going to do with the money supply, taxes, and I just think we're going to see a massive rally all the way into the year end, and then into 2025. I stick to my guns there. I've always shared that. I shared that opinion from the very beginning. I was positively surprised Q1. Q2 so far kind of goes as expected. I mean, sure, the selling right now is a bit early. I didn't expect Mount Gox to come in now. I thought it's going to come a bit later in the summer, according to plan. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be a rate cut in September or in November, but I'm definitely, so I had this chart, I saw this chart where you saw the correlation between M2 money supply and Bitcoin. And I strongly believe it's not just true for Bitcoin, it's also true for other risk on assets, for the NASDAQ and so on. They are very much correlated with M2. And even if they don't lower the rates, there is probably going to be some program or some three-letter thing that they are going to do the secret money printing. So I think there's going to be a rate cut, but there's definitely going to be, let's say, a more liquid market, more money supply. And probably, like, we already can see it's starting right now. So I think Australia, Europe, Canada, China, they all lower the rates or go into the direction of, let's say, easing. And the US is probably very likely to follow suit very soon. So short term, or let's say short term, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know, choppy and a bit of uncertainty. But midterm, so let's say 6 months, a year, I'm super bullish on risk on assets. Probably also other assets like metals, gold, commodities, because they usually tend to react to a bit of stimulus as well. Not so bullish probably on, I don't know, fiat, just holding fiat. Yeah. But yeah. So I think we're very much aligned on that.
Cool. Sounds good.
You want to go into big stuff? I don't know what you want to start with. So we have a bit of a giveaway regarding.
Yeah, I mean, first, maybe look. Last week I was in Europe. Yeah, there was 4 days of crypto, 3 days of book publisher, And then I flew back on over the weekend. So I was like, is the team going to burn down the office in the meantime? And we're going to come back and everything is still alive? Or what's it going to look like? The team did amazing, super focused, launched everything around the bundles, really been pushing, pushing, pushing. So I think they're going to go live with about 60 different bundles. So that's quite cool. Let's see with everything. So really, really nice. Then yeah, we are in the Ben, our VP of engineering, actually just tweeted that we are really in the final stages of getting our new fiat on ramp. This is something that was like such a big hurdle for everyone to get funds onto Bake. So that's really good. Launching more coins, so we're adding coins and coins and coins and coins. The team is tweeting this and posting this, so definitely take a look. It's really incredible. We are working on the withdrawal fees, so we have reduced the withdrawal fees. A lot of people want to see this, so this is so good. And then the withdrawal speed, so we've really been improving on the processes to really get the withdrawal speed ASAP. So man, it's really good. So I'm very, very happy, very, very proud of the team. And yeah, next thing is really gonna be working on tax efficiency for all these products. Yeah, making it like almost in this liquid staking style, doing this for staking, doing this for the bundles. That's going to be very tax efficient for many countries. So that's going to be the next huge step. That's going to, in my opinion, add massive value to people. So that's going to be quite good. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. I don't know, Fabio, anything that I'm forgetting on the launches or anything that's going on from your side that you see?
So on just a few minutes, hours ago, Ben, our VP of engineering, he shared a sneak preview of what it's going to look like when you actually want to set up a recurring buy or when you want to buy crypto on Bake. And so the thing that excites me the most and that is desperately needed, we are very much aware of that, is that users can buy crypto with all kinds of different ways. So what's particularly exciting for me is Apple Pay, because it makes things just so easy. I use Apple Pay everywhere, just like with disposable cards, and like I have a bunch of cards basically saved to my Apple profile, and it doesn't matter if it's fiat. If I want to use fiat, I buy crypto or I buy something online. It's just one of the easiest way to do that, and that's going to be live very, very soon and looks amazing. So yeah, if you can give Ben a follow. I think you retweeted it, Julian.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so if you go to Julian's Twitter profile first.
Yeah, Ben posted it, I retweeted it, and Ferret also retweeted. I think Ferret even saw it before me.
Yeah.
Max asks here, tax optimized staking will be very good. Will this also be coming for DFI staking? Could be a game changer. Yes, it will. So yeah, it's going to be quite good. We're really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be quite a distinguisher from any other platform. And you're going to see this also you're going to be able to see this in the app. How much are you actually benefiting from this? You're going to be able to set your own tax rate. And obviously you will, like, we're not going to take the tax liability or the legal liability for you. You will have to do your own due diligence if this is legit with your taxation, but we're fairly certain that this works on many jurisdictions. So yeah, this is going to be quite good. Yeah, and so we have this marketing campaign where you really have like huge chances to win. We're going to do a weekly raffle, so I'm going to be doing this live right now. And yeah, you all kinds of referral promotions, activity promotions. So you definitely just want to take a look there. So right now I'm actually going to be raffling off $500 for the last week. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to randomize this here. So I'm going to fill in all these codes. These codes is everyone who has actually passed the hurdles of executing for the campaign. So I can save this, and now we're gonna do the big. Oh wait, can people see this or cannot? Yeah, they can. Okay, just want to be sure. Can you see it, Fabio? Just want to be sure. Okay. So I did the same thing last week, and the winner is. And just so you understand this, we can only show a small part of the number, but this is very unique. So those 4 digits are definitely enough to be unique. Otherwise, we make sure that everything is unique. Otherwise, we show an extra digit or something. So it's the number 5679. The way this is going to work, you're going to see your winning amount being credited into your account. Congratulations. and the CS team is going to get in touch with you about winning, so that you are aware of this, and if you have questions and so on. So our CS team will be in touch. Yeah, congratulations. So if you also want to have a chance to win, make sure you participate. You use our tools, products, promotions, and yeah, share the good word. Let's spread the word about all the cool things that we have. Amazing. Cool. I don't have anything else. Fabio, do you?
Just the housekeeping at the end. So this is going to be recorded on Twitter. We are uploading this to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast. You can follow this live on YouTube with video and screen shares and so on. And we're going to be back next week, midday time in Europe, evening time in
Yeah,
Singapore.
next week, just so you know, we need to probably move the call because we actually have an audit meeting during the same time. I just see this in my calendar. So we're going to figure this out. I'm checking this if everything's fine, but I have an audit meeting during that time. So yeah, need to shift this, but will be no problem. Maybe just we do it a bit later or a different day or something. We'll figure it out. Don't worry, guys. Cool.
Awesome. Well, that's it.
Fantastic, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Stay safe, stay healthy, good investing. See you.